Hello, fellow aviators, and welcome to Leapex Online second session. I am your host, Prateek Tiwari, hosting this session live on Google Plus and YouTube. Leapex Online is an endeavor by me to update my fellow aviators on various aviation topics in trend today. Having said that, today I'd like to tell you that today's session is based on, that's right, heads-up display and EVS. A lot of you have been asking me what EVS actually is. So I'll tell you right now that EVS stands for Enhanced Flight Visual Systems. Now, without wasting much time, let's get on started, right? Okay, heads-up display. We have seen a lot of science fiction movies, haven't we? Take for instance Avatar, aircraft flying with big screens for display to the pilot. What seemed like a dream decades ago is turning into reality fast in aviation. Heads-up display, ladies and gentlemen, is one of them. But we all know that this is not a new invention, right? The primitive versions of heads-up display were actually used in World War II military aviation, where the information provided on the screen was actually to assist the pilot in tracking, cueing, and shooting an aircraft. Since then, HUD has come a long way. Gradually, HUD has evolved from just displaying the basics to taking inputs from numerous sources and displaying the processed information ergonomically, right? I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you know what ergonomics is. For those of you who are not aware of this term, I'll repeat. Ergonomics is basically a term which is used that man and machine. The machine must be designed according to the man. All the parts of the machine should be designed in a way that they will be used by a man. So that is when anyone says that, okay, this keyboard has very good ergonomics, that means that it is very easy for you to use it because it is designed in a way, right? So let's move on. As I said, that HUD has gone through gradual evolution. But today's military aircraft are capable of displaying the information on helmet-mounted displays with the freedom of movement of head, virtually giving the pilot whole view of operation theater. However, you may ask, what use it has today for us as commercial aviators? We don't have to shoot anyone down. We can do well without it, just like we were doing okay without so much automation, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the answer is still no. The air traffic worldwide is growing phenomenally, and operators cannot afford delays in departure or holding fuel costs. Heads-up display, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those tools which, if used sensibly, can reduce this cost. Now, today we won't be going into the technical working of the heads-up display at this point, as it is a different subject altogether. All I will say that, where in the past, heads-up displays used cathode ray, that is CRT tubes, for display, today they incorporate LED technology and also solid state light source emitting for a much more refined image production, which is much more efficient. And very soon, ladies and gentlemen, in the future, optical waveguide diffraction onto an LED screen will further enhance them. Having said that, let's have a brief look at HUD display. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on your screen right now, an aircraft is on approach. You'll notice that the display of heads-up display resembles closely with the PFD, right? As you can see, it is showing the same information almost on the same places, just like we used for those of us who flew glass cockpits. Remember, airspeed is displayed on the left, tape is there, altitude is displayed. Even the glide slope deviation is displayed, right? So you must be noticing that there is not much of a difference when you transit from your head-down display to heads-up display. It is made to be easy. There is also a declutter mode. All this information with you can possibly imagine is required on approach is available, just like the primary flight display. We can choose whatever information we want, just like the primary flight display. And as I said, there is also a declutter mode, just like the primary flight display. Declutter mode, ladies and gentlemen, is actually the aircraft is on approach, and now it will show you all unnecessary information will be removed, and only the information necessary for making the approach will be available to you, right? Let's, ladies and gentlemen, now venture into the practical applications and potential of head-up displays. What benefits are to be gained by using HUD for us as aviators, operators, and airport authorities, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, coming up first, the benefit of HUD is actually it is useful in directing the pilot's eyes outside the aircraft instead of down, while still providing all information needed to fly the aircraft. This is much more obvious. You see, by doing this, basically, it improves the situational awareness of the pilot in all phases of flight in which HUD is being used. Also, intuitively displaying speed and energy information, so that crew is able to manage the other background tasks, maintaining at the same time a high degree of situational awareness. Displaying special symbology that will help the pilot recognize and react to non-normal flight situations. Like I said, HUD can display selected information also. Also, in non-normal situations, HUD will automatically display only that information, like I said, which is critical in that phase of flight. Take, for example, TCAS alerts or unusual attitudes, where the display is simplified to aid recovery back to normal conditions, right? This is also just like the primary flight display. However, HUD offers one significant benefit, ladies and gentlemen, and that benefit is flight path flying. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for most of you people, this term would be new. I'll just explain this using the image. So as you can see, the HUD is present there, and this arrow which is pointing towards the symbol, that symbol is actually got something to do with flight path flying. Now, I'll tell you, flight path flying, this symbol is actually used to fly the aircraft on a desired flight path. I will further elaborate on this. See, basically the pilot controls the flight path of the aircraft. The HUD flight path symbol to desired point, reference to the real world view, right? So flight path flying automatically reflects and effects of crosswind, angle of attack, drag, thrust, and other factors which impact the dynamic state of aircraft. This has proven especially useful to the pilot in recognizing and controlling the vertical path of the aircraft. Those of us who have been flying glass cockpit aircrafts in training, you can relate to this by thinking this as the successor to the magenta diamond in the Garmin, right? You used to correct for the wind, the magenta diamond automatically used to correct you for the effects of wind. Just like that, this flight path symbol can actually correct for all these. You can consider this as a 3D. So basically, you have done all your calculations on approach, and now all you have to do is just maintain that little round thing in that, I don't know exactly what, it's called the flight path indicator. So you maintain it there, and the aircraft will automatically go to the desired flight path which you had tuned it, right? So as I said, the aircraft may be pointing in any direction. This symbol, if kept in its place, will keep us on the required flight path. Also, ladies and gentlemen, for the topping, HUD has a special algorithm that calculates optimum flare maneuver intended to, basically what it will do is, it will also show you the amount of flare required. That would also be in a declutter mode, because all the information at the time of flare will not be required. Only the information pertaining to the correct flare of the aircraft is required. So the algorithm utilizes descent rate and radio altimeter information to guide the pilot through this stressful maneuver, even at steeper than normal approach flight paths. And also, this feature is especially useful when flying to unfamiliar runways, which may be sloped, or during nighttime approach and landings. So imagine the HUD showing the amount of flare required by combining the flight director. So by now, you must have realized that the main advantage of HUD for us aviators is improved situational awareness, right? And efficiency of operation. But if you were to ask that what are the indirect benefits of HUD for operators and airport authorities, well, I would say that the use of lower minima would significantly bring down diversions, departure delays, thereby reducing costs of fuel, downtime of aircraft, and hence their cascading effect on ground handling, right? If HUD is present, you are able to use less minimas so that approach delays are avoided, departure delays are avoided, reliability for passengers, they know that dispatch reliability is there, downtime costs are reduced because you know that this aircraft is coming on approach, and minimas, even if the minimas are not up to the mark, if you use HUD, you can still lower the minima and then go with it. But that altogether has to be regulated, and it is regulated strictly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's now move on to DGCA perspective. What exactly DGCA says on applications and about HUD. Going quickly, training requirements should be established, monitored and approved by FSD, that is Flight Standards Directorate. Also, HUD training should address all flight operations for which HUD is designed and operationally approved. An understanding of the HUD, its flight path and energy management concepts and symbology. This should include operations including critical flight events, like I said, ACAS, upset and wind shear recovery, or engine system failure. Failure modes of HUD and impact of the failure modes or limitations upon crew performance. HUD use during low visibility operations including taxi, takeoff, instrument approach and landing in both day and night conditions. Now this training should include the transition from head down to head up and from head up to head down operations. Having discussed about heads up display, what I'd like to tell you that it is still not enough. Ladies and gentlemen, in the pipeline these days are enhanced flight vision systems and synthetic vision systems, right? I'll just give you a brief explanation of those. What you learned about HUD is actually not even half of what it's actually capable of. There has been a new development in the world of commercial aviation. Like I said, enhanced visual system, as you can see, there it follows on your screen right now. So ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing heads-up display. Everyone knows, right? The aircraft is on approach actually from finals now. But as you can see, it is night time, so the aircraft is displaying the image of the outer world. But this is actually night vision, right? You must have realized by this time that this is night time and the HUD is displaying the night vision image. So basically, this is actually enhanced flight vision system in which basically another camera is required. It actually originated from military aviation, where for target shooting they had to have there was a forward-looking infrared. It was called FLIR, forward-looking infrared. So that camera actually has the capability of shooting in the night, not exactly shooting, that's picturizing. So it used to take all the infrared signals. So basically night vision is present, and that night vision, ladies and gentlemen, as you are seeing, is imposed on the heads-up display. So just imagine how improved situational awareness a pilot can get. Even if there was total fog on this approach, we still would be able to see this image, enhanced flight visual. And more than that, ladies and gentlemen, synthetic vision systems. These days, it is being employed in Gulfstream aircraft. Synthetic vision system is a further advancement of HUD and EVS systems, in which there is no requirement of the visual image outside. What they do, the database is present, just like the EGPWS database. It's present, and it is synthetically imposed on the HUD, right? As you can see on the screen. I'll give you another image, right? You are able to see image is synthetic. It's not real, but using the synthetic vision system and the database, the image is reproduced on the HUD. So basically, there is no need for visual. It is complete 100% IFR flying, right? So ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the session of heads-up display for today. Feel free to ask any questions on this, and we'll be meeting soon in the next session, for which I'll be displaying and telling you about the topics. And also, I'd like to tell the fellow aviators that those of you who who want to take more out of these sessions can actually make Google Plus profile if you don't have, so that you are able to ask questions and answers before the session begins. So having said that, I take your leave by now. Hope you enjoyed. Keep watching Leapex Online. Thank you very much.